It's April 4th, and the Jays sit 1-3, having lost 3 straight games, and the series opener to the bottom feeder Kansas City Royals. But it's silly to write them off this early. After all, they went to back-to-back ALCSs after starting the season 11-14 and 11-12. So to think that the season is washed up already is a complete overreaction. But I won't sit here and act like nothing has happened, because it's obvious. The Jays' pitching has been poor to start the season. The bats, on the other hand, have scored 20 runs throughout the first 4 games. Not bad at all. And the defense has been good at times too. Springer looks comfortable in right, and Kiermaier and Varsho look to be right at home alongside him. But we saw in Game 2 of the Cardinals series a rare mishap from Matt Chapman cost the team 3 runs. And later on, another run crossed after Vlad couldn't pick Bo's bouncing throw. Those were the only 4 runs the Jays let up the entire game. Really shooting themselves in the foot there. That game could have been swayed either way, and if the Jays played clean ball on the defensive side, then they could have potentially scraped by with a 1-0 win and taken 2 out of 3 against the NL Central favorites away from home. But let's get back to the elephant in the room, and that's the pitching. I was hoping I wouldn't have to talk about it for the next few years. After all, they spent a lot of money to shore up their rotation. But if there had to be hiccups, I'm glad it's early on, and hopefully we don't have to come back to this in, let's say, June or July. In the 4 games the Jays have played in so far, the team ERA sits at an embarrassing 7.64, the worst in the American League. Of course, this stat will eventually come down, but the question is by exactly how much and when will the 5 become a consistent force? And as you saw when you clicked on the video, I'm going to try and bring some light to the reason why the pitching has been struggling throughout the first few games. Well, with the new changes introduced this season, there will be growing pains, and pitchers will have to work at the pace MLB wants them to go at rather than their own. I don't think too many people have truly grasped how big of a change the 2023 season is for the game of baseball. Looking back in the past 60 or so years, there have only ever been 3 major rule changes. In 1968, the pitching mound was dropped to add more offense into games. In 1973, the DH was adopted by the AL, again to add more offense into the game. And in 2008, video reviews were introduced to ensure the right call was made. That's it. Of course, there are other changes like a pitcher can't throw at a batter, but that's pretty minor. Now let's take a look at the rules introduced since 2022, and they are huge. In fact, they're so big, pretty much each one of these rules could have a video of their own. That's how much it's going to change the game. Sorry to interrupt, I just wanted to say that these videos take hours to create, so your subscription would help me out immensely as I try to reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys, and enjoy the rest of the video. With these rules, one thing not being talked about enough is because of the short time pitchers have to throw the ball, they are now the ones controlling pitch comm. And I personally am not the biggest fan of that. To me, calling pitches is a catcher's job. The pitcher needs to worry about executing pitches, not throwing the ball, then think in his mind what to throw next, press the buttons on pitch comm, and be rushed into his delivery. It's especially difficult with a guy like Chris Bassett, who throws at least 8 different pitches. You can't have all that extra thought running through your mind when you try to execute on the mound. It's just a recipe for disaster. From the 4 guys we've seen so far start for the Jays, Alek Manoah and Chris Bassett have both used pitch comm, and their combined stats are nothing like we've seen from them. The other 2, Kevin Gausman and Jose Barrios, allowed the catchers to call the game. Of course, Barrios did not have a good start, but we saw Kevin Gausman's season debut was very effective, so it's still important to note that difference in game plan. Some pitchers may get used to using pitch comm, while others will go back to what the catcher calls and just roll with it. That's the type of growing pain I'm talking about, and it may be a few starts for each pitcher until they start to get into their groove for the season. Hopefully that is the reason behind the early struggles for the Jays, because then we should see major improvements only a couple times through the rotation. But what do you guys think about pitchers calling their own games? Do you think it should be reverted back to a catcher's job, or is this an innovative idea to allow pitchers to throw exactly what they want all the time? I would love to hear what you guys think of this because it's a big change for the game of baseball. And if you guys enjoy content like this, then make sure to subscribe. Again, these videos take hours to research, write out, record, find clips, create overlays, edit, create a thumbnail, download off Adobe, upload on YouTube, and post. So your subscription would help me out immensely as I try to reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there, and I'm thankful for all the support on the channel recently. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.